Welcome one and all, I'm Decoy. Amazon's new Fallout series is just around the corner, and you might be asking yourself, what Fallout game do I need to play before I watch the show to fully enjoy it? And to be honest with you, right off the rip, according to Todd Howard, you don't need to play any of the Fallout games to enjoy the show. That being said, I think a lot of Fallout players would agree that you're going to enjoy it far more if you play a Fallout game beforehand. Now the question then becomes, which Fallout game should be played? So I'm going to try to break this down as best I can, and I really want to start off by just talking about the timeline, because the show is the most current thing in the Fallout timeline. The show is taking place in 2296, and the oldest thing in the timeline is Fallout 76, taking place almost 200 years beforehand in 2102. Though technically it's in 2105 right now because the game clock keeps getting moved up with certain updates, so that could change down the road. It might actually be in 2106, 2107. There's no telling. But I will say, I think key factors to look at here, aside from timeline, is location. Because the Fallout series is taking place in LA, I want to say. Where Fallout 76, aside from being roughly 200 years apart, it's in Appalachia. So, yeah, there might be some, real short references to 76 thrown in there. That would not surprise me in the least. But I don't feel like that is your best choice if you're only going to pick one game. So moving forward from 2102, we make a huge jump forward in the timeline to 2161 with Fallout, the first Fallout game. And I don't think you can really argue that, if you start at the beginning, that's a solid choice. I don't think you can argue against that. But let's keep moving forward. 2161 was Fallout. 2197 is Fallout Tactics. 2241, we move to Fallout 2. And I'm kind of speeding up here because I want to get to what I think is important. Because we're talking about Bethesda, so we really want to hit the Bethesda era. Because, Todd Howard has a hand in this. I'm pretty sure he wants to make some nods and references here and there to some of his work. So, Fallout 3 takes place in 2277, roughly 20 years before the show. The catch here is that Fallout 3 is East Coast. It is DC, alright? Which is super freaking cool. But, again, this is the other side of the freaking country. Now, I feel like Fallout 3 is a solid choice for 3 reasons. 1, the Brotherhood presence and what's going on story-wise within Fallout 3. I would be shocked if there's not some sort of a reference to what happened out in DC 20-something years ago. That, I feel like, should be a thing. Then, we move on to how the game begins, with you being a vault dweller. None of the other games have really captured that whole feeling of being a vault dweller and stepping out of the vault for the first time. And seriously, I can't stress enough, Fallout 3 did the vault beginning the best out of what's come out since 3, in my opinion. Then we move on to the final key factor, and that is Todd Howard. I'm going to be honest, I feel like Todd Howard's going to have a special place for Fallout 3, and he's going to want to put some nods towards his work. So, pretty safe bet there. But either way, let's move forward into New Vegas. We're jumping from 2277 to 2281. Now, I'm going to be honest here. I feel like New Vegas, super, super strong choice. This takes place, obviously, in Vegas. And That being said, it puts you a lot closer towards the West Coast. Not only that, the NCR has a presence out here, which is the New California Republic. So I would not be surprised in the least if we have a little bit going on where we get some references to the game. But more importantly, hopping in here, you can get some of the lore for the NCR, all that sort of stuff. You're actually going to gain a lot more NCR type of knowledge. Whereas Fallout 3, you're going to gain a whole lot of Brotherhood knowledge, which is awesome. Really, these two pretty strong choices. But New Vegas does suffer in that if you're looking for that vault type of feel that I mentioned earlier, you're not really going to get that in New Vegas, getting that whole vault dweller vibe, because it's its own thing. You're the courier. And yeah, I'm not going to go any further than that. Again, I'm not trying to spoil anything too crazy. So after 2281, we're going to jump up 5 years to Fallout Shelter, which, I'm going to be honest, I feel like this is a pass. You might have fun with it, download it on your phone, play it, whatever, but I don't think it's going to be that important towards the show. Now we'll jump forward 1 year to 2287 with Fallout 4. It takes place 10 years after Fallout 3 and 9 years before the show, putting it in a kind of middle realm between one of my picks and the show. So the key thing here with Fallout 4 is that it does take place on the East Coast, which will likely hinder it a little bit. But you do have a Brotherhood presence. You have Todd Howard's hand in it, probably wanting to make a nod to something here or there. But more importantly, you do have mods on console. And most console games do not have mods, so that is pretty significant and could lead into, a little bit more lore-wise from the community. And that brings us to my final verdict. What game should be played? Honestly, I think it has to go to New Vegas because of location, the fact there's a strong NCR presence, and it takes place only 15 years before the series. While not the most recent game, I think the other factors are what make this the number one choice. Of course, Fallout 3, again, another strong choice in my opinion. But I tell you what, hop down in the comments, let me know your thoughts on what Fallout game should be played before hopping into the Amazon series. Of course, things might become a whole lot clearer after the series comes out. And we go, oh, no, that was not the right choice. Should have known better. But either way, I hope you've enjoyed it. And as usual, please remember to like, sub, and share. Later.